Hello and welcome back to the Crictime Podcast from a different setting this time. And, as always, we've got another guest on, and India, Australia is in full swing as well. So a bit of conversations about that. A lot to discuss this episode. A lot has happened since the last time we recorded. I think we recorded right before the Asia Cup final. So, um, a bit about the Asia Cup to begin with. But joining me today is Shubh Agarwal. So thank you for joining us. Shubh, if you want to give a quick intro about yourself for those who may not know what you do.
Yeah, so hi guys, myself Shubh Agrawal. I'm an engineer on paper, but I was never interested in that thing. So as soon as I was completed with that thing, I started working in the cricket industry. Though on a very low key level, I started working with Circle of Cricket as a social media intern. There, I worked there for a couple of years, and then I moved to cricket.com. I worked there as a cricket writer, sports writer basically, and yeah, I kind of love my job because who doesn't enjoy being paid to watch cricket, right? So yeah, I've been working with cricket.com for almost 4 years now, and yeah, that's about me.
Yeah, I mean that this might sound stereotypical, but a lot of engineers do an engineer degree and don't end up
I was actually clueless about what I want to do after school. It just my parents said that okay, this might be the right thing for you. I had no idea what to do, so I just went with their advice. On the second day of my engineering life, I kind of understood okay, this is not for me. But the best thing to get out of it is to just pass all the exams, which was
yeah.
4 years long. But yeah, proud to get out of it and to be doing what I'm doing right now.
No, yeah. I mean, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. I mean, I know it's pretty late in India, and you said you're really sleepy, so I'll keep it short and we'll keep it concise in terms of what we talk about today. India team. Let's discuss. Let's start with the Asia Cup. Actually, a bit about rounding off the Asia Cup. I know it's been a while since the Asia Cup ended, but Sri Lanka winning, the underdogs. Basically, I don't think anyone expected them to win because there was India who was looking strong. Pakistan's a good T20 side as well, and the way they lost to Afghanistan. After that, I thought we all ruled out Sri Lanka and the way they came back. What are your thoughts on that and how effective they can be in the World Cup this year?
Well, first of all, I think it is great for cricket that out of all the teams, it was Sri Lanka who won that Asia Cup. I mean, Sri Lanka or Afghanistan, either of these two teams winning would have been great for the tournament and great for global cricket as well. And yeah, I think Sri Lanka doing it is it. I mean, we all. I was supporting India, of course. I was rooting for India, but that did not happen. But the fact that Sri Lanka went all the way through, especially after the way they started. They were all out for 105 against Afghanistan in the tournament opener, but after that they just chased down scores for fun. They chased down against Afghanistan, they chased down against India, against Pakistan, and then even in the final they were asked to bat first in Dubai, where teams batting first generally don't have a good record, and that too, Sri Lanka was batting first against a team like Pakistan who are very good with the ball. So I think Sri Lanka doing it, Sri Lanka winning the cup is it's a very heartwarming result as well, because we all know that what was going around in Sri Lanka politically, to rise above those things. It was a very heartwarming result, and also I love the fact that Sri Lanka as a T20 side, Sri Lanka's batting is actually it defines the modern day T20 batting approach, where you don't care about big scores, but you have multiple batters who can contribute with those 15 ball 30. They are very crucial knocks, and if you have 5, 6 players who can do that, I think you have a pretty decent T20 batting side. And Sri Lanka just proved that because they chased multiple times throughout the tournament, and also they chased down good some stiff targets. Actually, they chased down 170 plus every time they won batting second. So yeah, it was very good result for the Asia Cup and for global cricket as well. That it was Sri Lanka that won the Asia Cup.
I think many teams would have rethought their strategy in terms of what you said about, those 15 ball 30s. India mein, Pakistan mein, you always see those big names, jo jaise Babar Azam, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, who always have to play every single game. And that's because of their record in T20s, the experience they hold. But sometimes, if you've got three batsmen in your team who've got the capability to score 25, 30 runs in 10 balls, 15 balls, that is pretty much more effective than a 50 runs in 45, 47 balls. And you need those kind of innings right at the start of the game and the end. So Sri Lanka really, taking a lot of the cricketing world by surprise by winning that tournament, and it'll give them a big boost for that World Cup coming up as well in Australia. Obviously, conditions are going to be different, but moving on to India and their exit from the Asia Cup, I think that was a bit of a surprise for all of us, and the way we played in the Super Four, but. Your quick thoughts on India's performance in the Asia Cup and overall so far in T20s.
Overall in T20s, it has been good because if you see before the Asia Cup, we were just winning in T20 cricket. We defeated England hands down. West Indies in West Indies, we were supposed to win, but in the way we defeated England, it was a massive boost for the Indian side. So it was actually based on that series result in England that everyone felt that okay, India should win the Asia Cup and not just win. Some people, people were expecting them to win all the games in the Asia Cup, which obviously did not happen. But I think a major factor why that did not happen was India's bowling. Actually, India's bowling did not rise to the occasion. We saw Bhuvneshwar Kumar getting belted at the death. We saw Yuzvendra Chahal being ineffective. Bumrah was not there. Harshal Patel was not there actually, and these four players have been our major mainstays when it comes to bowling department in our T20 bowling lineup. So two of them were not there. The other two were not in their best form. Avesh Khan really blew hot and cold. I mean, cold most of the times. So yeah, it was just about that. I think our bowling did not click at all, and that is still a major concern now because we saw India concede 200 plus total to Australia in the first T20 international in Mohali as well. So I think it's just that our bowling is really coming under the radar right now.
I think bowling ke sath I might be wrong here, but I want to say jab se Bharat Arun has been removed from the team, we've generally been struggling in terms of bowlers because I remember, Bhuvi is regarded as one of the best white bowlers for India, especially in the death. And not just in India, but I think overall as well, he's one of the best you can have in your team. And the wickets he's got and the economy rate that he's got. But suddenly in the Asia Cup, the 19th over against Pakistan, the one against, I think, was it against Sri Lanka? I think was it?
As well. Yeah, Sri Lanka.
So India's death bowling, whether it was bowling first or bowling second, it wasn't the best, and we've lost quite a lot of runs. And even as you mentioned against Australia, we gave away about 50, 60 runs in the last few overs. So it's not been an ideal bowling attack from India's perspective. But going into the batting the batting issues that India are dealing with, and I know there's a lot of talk about this, and it's like one day we talk about KL Rahul being dropped and then he scores a 60, and then you talk about Kohli opening, but he's gotten out on the duck. So it's a bit of a conundrum for both Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma to figure out. But would you say maybe KL Rahul, give him a few days off and or maybe peg him down the order into number 3 and promote Virat Kohli, considering his average and the way he plays as an opener in T20s?
I think that second option could be done. First option definitely not, because he came back in the side after a long layoff and anyways. So I don't think resting him is an option. Even if you are not including him in your 11, that will straight away means you are dropping him because he's had a long rest already. So I think second option can be done because 2 months back I had the opinion that Kohli might not be the best fit in the India's T20 World Cup side, just because of his unproductive strike rate against spin. And the only way to deal with that was to make him open. And I think Kohli himself is more comfortable in T20 cricket when he's opening the innings. But obviously that spot is not available in this Indian side because you have KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma as well. So considering that, I used to feel that Kohli might not be the best fit in the Indian side, but the way he played in the Asia Cup, he actually took on spin as well in some productive style. So I thought, okay, maybe I was wrong. Kohli can be kept, but again, his best position is still when he opens the batting. That spot is not available. Rohit Sharma, I think Rohit Sharma is an obvious choice to. I mean, he has cemented his spot as an opener first of all. So Rohit Sharma is under no doubt. The only other player that who can be pushed down is KL Rahul. Maybe I don't see how it will help KL Rahul if he comes down to number three. But it will definitely help Virat Kohli. So maybe Kohli as an opener uh, is an option. Kohli's best spot in the side undoubtedly is the opening slot. Uh, so maybe Kohli should open, but again, it is a very dicey thing to say because KL Rahul, I don't see how it will help KL Rahul if he comes down to number three right now, because he's also a batter who enjoys pace early on. He can, his one of his best strokes that everyone loves to watch KL Rahul play is when he flicks the ball, flicks that leg stump ball over square leg for six. That is tough to do against spin, almost impossible basically. So KL Rahul's best spot is also opening the innings. The same goes for Rohit. The same goes for Kohli as well. So you have three players for two spots. So I don't see how it will help if KL comes down to number three, but it will definitely help Kohli. So yeah, maybe it's an option worth trying, but I think it is too late to do that now. Maybe because India have only four T20Is left before their first World Cup match. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But just considering that
Yeah.
opening is the best slot for Kohli, maybe Rahul can be tried at number three for once.
No, I think we've got enough. I think time is not an issue here because I look at it and I go, there's 4 T20s obviously, and then there's three warm-up games I think we've got before the actual
Two
World
warm
Cups.
up games. There will be two warm up games. I feel,
Yeah, I think we're playing Australia and New Zealand, I think, in those warm-up
Yeah.
games. So I think there is a chance, maybe give Kohli one or two more opening stances in that. Maybe, Sharma, I know Sharma won't sit out because obviously he needs to gain his form back as well for Australia. But if there's a chance, Sharma gives the other players a chance, the same way they played against Afghanistan, KL Rahul and Kohli up top. But maybe KL Rahul, he needs to sit a game out. You're right. It looks like he's being dropped then, but then at the same
I
time,
have just the one concern with Rohit Sharma dropping down in the order, and that is that off late Rohit Sharma has also struggled against off spin. I mean, that is very weird to say that a right-handed batter struggles against off spin, but that has been the case with Rohit Sharma off late, and I would not be comfortable to see Rohit Sharma start against spin. I would like to see him start against pace itself. KL Rahul, he is a little bit more flexible against spin, though again, I would like to see him start against pace as well. So you see, the conundrum is that Rohit, Kohli, and KL, all of them are similar kind of batters, and none of them would like to come at three right now, but you have only two opening slots. So yeah, maybe so that is why I feel if anyone can come down to number three, it should be Rahul right now. But let's see how the team management takes things forward.
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what Dravid and Rohit Sharma think of this situation in there. But Sky coming into the team has been a great blessing for India. That number 4 spot has been cemented by him. The way he plays those shots, and so remember the game. He comes in and the first shot, it's on a leg side and he just flicks his bat towards the back, and it's one of the best shots he can play. So the options India has with Sky, and I hope it continues that way because I think Sky's got a bright future in India. Maybe not in Test matches, but in T20s in the shorter format, maybe ODIs as well. Test him out, but
Sky should be the first name on the sheet, according to me. Even before Rohit Sharma, you should first put Sky at number 4, and that's it, and then build the team around it. So yeah. Sky is an obvious pick right now.
Yeah, one that isn't obvious is DK and Pant. This discussion has been going on for, I feel like DK will be 40 and we'll still be having this discussion. Like, should we still give DK another chance? But one's a youngster who's trying to come into this team, who's maybe cemented his place as a test match wicketkeeper and batsman, but maybe not so much in the short format. While you've got someone who's got experience, who I guess was the man next to Dhoni all the time, someone India can rely on, when you need the last few overs to go well, when you're chasing down or even setting a target. But Pant, you've got a future with him. So your quick thoughts on which one would you prefer and who would you like Sharma to back more and be public about it? Because I think the way I look at it, Sharma hasn't necessarily been public about whether he prefers DK or Pant, and it's just been them rotating them around every few games. Obviously, last game, both of them played.
I think first of all, there are pros and cons of both the players. First of all, you talked about the future point of view. So we look at the future from the World Cup perspective, right? And since the World Cup is right now, I don't think that future point of view is right now a question. Should just be about form right now. Who's scoring more runs? Who's being more productive for the side? And right now it is Dinesh Karthik, no doubt about it. Now the biggest demerit of choosing DK over Pant right now is that if you choose DK and Pant sits out, you don't have a proper left-hander in the side.
With Jadeja being ruled out as well for the
With Jadeja being ruled out, and even if Jadeja was there right now, I feel the role of a middle order left-hander in T20 cricket, it is to break the spinners, to break the spin attack of the opposition side, and Jadeja doesn't have a great record against spin. So that way, from that perspective, as well, Pant was a better option. But and I think that is a big reason why Team India persisted with Rishabh Pant for so long. But I think that Pant has nobody but to blame himself from when it comes to the white ball side. He has got enough chances, and every time I watch him bat, I think he's a confused man. He doesn't know that if he wants to attack or if he wants to, if he wants to build a proper innings. And when he wants to attack, whenever he has looked to attack in T20 internationals, he has always chosen the wrong ball to go after, and in the process he loses his wicket. So if you don't select Pant, if you go with DK right now, the problem is that you have a batting order where you have 6 right-handers. Then you have Akshar Patel, who I don't think he is the ideal left-hander you want to run your innings with during the middle overs. So Akshar has improved his batting, but but will you bat him at number 4 or 5 in a crucial World Cup game? I don't think the answer is yes to that. So the only question, if you put out Pant, is that you have a right-handed batting heavy lineup, and opposition can target you with a left-arm spinner, with one left-arm spinner and a leg break bowler. So you can't really hit a dead end there. So that is the only question right now. But just given how well DK has performed, I think he deserves his spot in India. Going by what has happened going by the 11 that they have picked in the first 2 matches, I think DK will get the nod ahead of Pant in the first match at least.
Yeah, I think they will want DK in the squad. Obviously, they will want both of them. I highly doubt Ishan Kishan will be considered this late on.
He's not in the squad right now.
Yeah, so no, I was just thinking. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, as in maybe they might want to switch up the squad, even though the squad's been submitted. I think you're still allowed to make changes in terms of injuries and backup players coming in, but it is clear that right now they want to stick with DK and Pant, and they'll do a rotation format where they play both of them one by one, and then obviously with Jadeja being out and you saying we need a middle order left hand, because we've seen it in the Asia Cup how important that is. Jadeja coming on against Pakistan to counter that spin was great, and then when Pakistan did it against India as well, when Nawaz came up the order, he came up the order. So in those 2 circumstances, as well as many other that we can think of, you do always need a left hand right hand combination, because that just keeps the fielders guessing what's the next ball. The bowler needs to change up his line and length every time, so it just makes it harder for the bowler as well. But moving on from India and to the Indian board a little bit. Actually, we haven't spoken about the death bowlers, and we've spoken about Bumrah and Bhuvi a little bit, but Harshal Patel coming in again. I don't know if you feel this way, but India aren't trying Mohammad Siraj and Shami in T20s. Obviously, he's injured in this, not injured, but he's got COVID this series. But I was surprised that he wasn't on the team, on the squad list for the World Cup, Mohammad Shami specifically.
So the thing with Shami is that Shami has a great power play record with in T20 cricket, but at death he is not someone that you can trust at all. I mean that has been the case with him for a number of years, even in IPL as well. So and India already have Bhuvneshwar Kumar as their power play specialist right now to pick wickets with the new ball, and just going by that they are looking for someone who is very very good at the death. If Shami was that guy who with a very good record in the end overseas would certainly be considered, but I don't think that is the case, and that is why Shami is out. And Shami also, he has not played a single T20 international for India since the last World Cup. So you just cannot give him a wild card entry at the last moment. I think right now he is in the reserves, and a big reason behind that is in case Bhuvneshwar Kumar gets injured or something happens to him, then Shami can come in as a straight swap for him as someone who can take wickets with the new ball. That is, I feel that is the case with Shami. When it comes to Siraj, he just had a couple of horror IPLs, and he is not a regular starter for India in white ball cricket as well. He made his ODI debut this year only, though he had a good series against West Indies when India went to West Indies a couple of months back. I think that he was never on India's radar as a T20 resource. So that is why I feel both Shami and Siraj. I don't think they were ever in plan. They were ever in contention for this year's T20 World Cup. So I think that is why they are out. Harshal Patel, I think, Harshal Patel made his debut in the first T20 international against New Zealand, basically again India's first T20 match right after the World Cup last year. So it is fair to say that he was in our plans ever since we lost the last year's World Cup, ever since we exited from the UAE World Cup. So he was always in plan. He did well for us for a number of months. It is just off late that he has uh, struggled, and a big reason behind that, I feel that he has not played much cricket in the last couple of months as well because of the injury. So I think uh, team the team will be patient with him, and they will try to give him more opportunities to get back into his rhythm. And once he gets back into his form, him and Bumrah can form a very effective pair for the death overs. So yeah, I feel that is what the team is thinking right now.
Yeah, you're right. I think we've got a lot of options. Options की कोई कमी नहीं है death bowling में.
There is Arshdeep
Not
as
just
well.
death bowling. Yeah, Arshdeep has come in as well. So in terms of pace bowling, we've been lucky, and I'm credit to Bharat Arun again here for scouting these players. And I remember Harshal Patel having a great season in the IPL a few years back, and then Siraj as well. That's how we found both of them. And Imran Malik also someone who can come in as well. But obviously these are all youngsters who haven't got the experience as Bumrah, Bhuvi, and Shami do. I was still kind of surprised, Shami was not part of that squad. मुझे लगा था एक एक्सपीरियंस बॉलर और होना चाहिए था. अर्शदीप में भी हाँ एशिया कप खेला हुआ है, थोड़ा बहुत एक्सपीरियंस है, बट इतना नहीं है जितना शामी के पास है. एंड Shami, we've seen what Shami can do in Australian pitches and English pitches. I know format alag hai. It's a white ball. It's not a red ball. It's not going to swing. Batters defensive nahi honge, attacking minding honge. But I feel like Shami could have had an impact. So
I just feel that if Shami could come in, he will come in for Bhuvi, not for Arshdeep or Harshal or Bumrah right now, because he has a super power play record, but not at the depth. So that is why Shami is kept in reserve right now. And just the fact that he has not played a T20 international in the past 1 year, that also becomes a crucial factor, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of factors that go into the selection of these players. But moving on to the board and this new implementation of the new rule coming in that we've been hearing about for a
Oh, that
time now,
impact player thing.
impact player.
Okay.
And it
Yeah.
is, for those of you watching, we're as confused as you guys, because to me, what it sounds like is, let's say it's Rohit Sharma versus Babar Azam, and Rohit Sharma wins the toss, and he's suddenly got 6 bowlers in his squad. He bowls out everyone, and then he can replace a bowler with a batsman, and now he's got 6 batsmen, 7 batsmen for the next innings. So that's a very confusing way of announcing a rule, or that has zero explanation to it. I'm sure there must be something in it, but what are your thoughts on it? And do you think it's going to be something that's going to be implemented in the international cricket, or no?
I'm not sure about it. In international cricket, it has come up already. I think the super sub rule came up in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s, in fact. But the problem with that was that you were only allowed to name one super sub, right? And then we saw in the Big Bash that you were allowed two super sub. You were allowed to, declare two potential super subs, which you can put in the match at the 10th over mark in the first innings, I guess. And here the rule is that you can announce four. So I'm not sure about it, how it will go. I don't think even BCCI understands how it will go at the moment, because that is why they have announced the rule to be implemented in the Sayyid Mushtaq Ali Trophy first, and if
Yeah.
that becomes a success, only then it will go on in the IPL. That is how I feel. My understanding of the rule is that it failed in the first attempt when ICC announced it in mid 2000s, because what used to happen is that if a player, if suppose England announced a bowler as their potential super sub, and then they are asked to bowl first, then that super sub actually became completely irrelevant,
Yeah.
because you will bring the bowler in the second innings only, and if you are batting in the second innings, it makes no point at all. And similarly, the case with super sub announcement in Big Bash, the problem there was that you can only bring that player in at the 10th over mark in the first innings. So you have not seen enough play to bring to make a crucial change, but you are allowed to. Here you are allowed four, and I'm actually confused at how that will work. I feel that. Actually, I don't feel anything about it as yet. I'm really confused about it, but I feel you should only be allowed two. You can name one batter and one bowler, and depending on what happens at the toss, you can take a decision about which player you would like to bring in at any point in the game, and that's it. I think what my answer itself is a bit confusing right now, and that just says everything about the rule. That the rule isn't crystal clear in the first place.
But yeah, adding on to your point, I echo what you say in this situation, because it's like one of those which is very confusing as someone who follows football. I'm it's very common in football, and it's like once you've done the sub, you can't have the sub come back, and this and so on and so forth. There's no limits to it. But obviously in football, it's a different scenario where um you're more likely to replace a like for like player, where this might be used for a like to an
Yeah.
unlike player, where you have a bowler
Yeah.
coming in for a batter for in a batting position, and so on and so forth. So
I actually like the super sub rule earlier, but the problem, as I mentioned, it was the toss, that you don't know the toss, and if you announce a bowler as a super sub, and if you are bowling first, then it makes no sense. That way, if you are announcing two super subs, one batter, one bowler, that simply solves that problem right away. But then if you are allowed four, I mean, you can do multiple things with it. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I think we need to see a couple of examples of how
yeah.
that pans out in a cricket match to actually understand what kind of impact that can lay on the outcome of a match, and how teams can use it as well. So yeah, I think it is too early to judge that, but let's hope. I mean, let's see how it works.
Yeah, I think we're It's अभी काफी time है. I think international
अभी
cricket में
काफी
आने
टाइम
में
है,
IPL
एग्जैक्टली.
में domestic, even in domestic,
I
IPL में
don't.
आने
I
में
think
काफी
it
time
is too wacky to come into
है.
international cricket. I think Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy में आएगा तो, and just my gut feeling and how I have understood cricket till now, I don't
Yeah,
think we will see it in the IPL itself. I think वो सैयद मुश्ताक अली में आके ही
yeah.
रह जाएगा, उससे आगे proceed नहीं करेगी BCCI. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, moving on to the World Cup that's coming up. Obviously, the South Africa series coming up as well. But the World Cup is the epitome of everything right now for India and the other teams. You're quick. I think. You know, when if you want to quickly go and say the top three, the strongest teams that in that World Cup. Obviously, with so many coming in. England, Australia, Pakistan, and now Sri Lanka is in that list as well. India, obviously, there. So your quick top three teams for the World Cup.
Yeah, top three teams for the World Cup. I feel, yeah, Australia for sure. Not only because they are the defending champions or they are the hosts, but the thing is that in the first T20 international, Cameron Green and Nathan Ellis were kind of their MVPs with the way they played. Ellis was their best bowler in a 200 plus game, and Cameron Green scored a blazing 60 odd of 30 balls, and both of them are not in their Premier World Cup squad. So that itself goes to show that they hold a lot of brutal firepower, both with the bat and the ball in their squad. So yeah, Australia for sure. England are always white ball favorites ever since Owen Morgan took over the side. Though he's not there, but that hardly matters. So yeah, England, Australia. I also like the look of the South Africa side. We saw what they did in India in the month of June. They also defeated England in England. They drew 2-2 against India, and now they have Riley Crusoe in back in the side as well. Again, a premium left-handed middle order batter, just the kind of a left-hander you want in your middle order. And plus, they have a lot of pace bowling all-rounder as well. So I think South Africa ticks a lot of boxes when it comes to the squad construction of a T20I side. So yeah, these three sides, I think all these three sides should make it to the semis. I feel Australia, England from Group One. Similarly, I feel South Africa and India from the other group. And I think you asked me three. I have named four basically. I've named my semi-finalists right now. So yeah, Australia, England, South Africa, and India.
For me, I think Pakistan comes into the conversation because of the pitches in Australia and the pacers they've got. I think if they can capitalize on that and the way Babar Azam and Rizwan, obviously they're not performing every game. You can't expect a player to score 100 every game, which is, I think, what a lot of teams will be focusing on. Try and get Babar Azam and Rizwan out, and you've suddenly opened up the gates for the rest to fall down for Pakistan. But as long as they keep their bowling intact and they keep the pressure on the opposition, and Babar and Rizwan play the natural game, Pakistan can be the underdogs that no one thinks about.
Pakistan can be the underdogs. They are the underdogs actually. Yeah. Do you ask me about my favorites? I name my favorites, but yeah, Pakistan cannot be overlooked. But at the same time, Pakistan have had a poor record in T20I cricket of late in Australia. So I don't think they have the side for Australia to clear those big venues with their batting lineup. But yeah, having said that, I mean Pakistan is a side you just you cannot really मतलब तुम उनको लेके कुछ कैलकुलेशन वगैरह करके कुछ फायदा है ही नहीं. I mean basically so yeah, Pakistan can do anything they want. So yeah, Pakistan is also a side that cannot be overlooked.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's one of those where on their day they can beat any team on the pitch, but if it's their, like, obviously that 200 chase down that they did against England, and then the next day they collapse.
It was crazy that they chased down 200 plus without losing a wicket. I mean, who could have guessed that?
Look, I think Babar was like, यार कोहली के पास ही अब एक सेंचुरी आ गई, अब मुझे बढ़ाना पड़ेगा
I
थोड़ा
mean,
लेवल.
it was weird. He was consoling Kohli a while ago on Twitter, saying this shall pass soon, and then he was like, "अच्छा उसने सेंचुरी मार के पास आउट करा." मैं ठीक है, मैं भी सेंचुरी मारूंगा सीधा सीधा. I mean, कुछ नीचे बात करी नहीं, सीधा 100.
Yeah, man, these guys are crazy with the levels they're playing at. So obviously that's going to be interesting to watch as well. So the World Cup coming up just under a month, if I'm not wrong. It starts in so very soon after the South Africa T20 series, and I think if I'm not wrong, the
There are
ODI
ODIs
series.
as well. I don't know why they are playing ODIs in between, but okay, let's see.
Well, I don't think anyone even knows those games are happening. Those will just be
Yeah.
games that will be played out. But I don't know. It's very surprising to play ODIs right before T20 World Cup. But I won't keep you waiting any longer. Thank you very much for coming on the
No
podcast,
problem,
Shubh.
man. Pleasure. Yeah.
Really appreciate you coming on and giving us your time and your insights. So for everyone watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like, rating, subscribe. Follow Shubh on all of his social media pages. We'll link it all below. And would like to have him on again and sometime soon, hopefully when the World Cup starts, so we can review some other India games as well as the World Cup itself. But for those of you listening to this on an audio platform, make sure to subscribe and add us to your playlist. It really helps us a lot in growing. And make sure to comment below what you think India's chances are in the World Cup, as well as the other teams if you support Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, from wherever you're watching. So thank you very much. Thank you once again, Shubh, and we'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe.